Imagine stepping into a major US airport in the peak of summer, and finding it eerily quiet. No lines, no bustling terminals, just rows of empty seats and endless flight delays. Could it be that Americans simply aren't flying like they used to? From the glitter of Vegas to the beaches of Miami, tourism is taking a nosedive. International travelers are heading to other destinations, while locals are choosing to stay closer to home. Places once designed to handle millions are now echoing with emptiness. Here are 10 major reasons why airports all over America are going quiet, and why this trend may not be temporary. Number 10. Rising flight prices are pushing travelers away. When did airfare become a luxury only a few can afford? A round-trip flight from Chicago to Miami, once under $200, now regularly exceeds $400. And that's just the starting fare. Once you include baggage, seat choices, and maybe a drink, the costs pile up fast. Many families look at these numbers and decide it's not worth it. It's not that they've lost the desire to travel, it's that the price tag is simply out of reach. For a family of 4, flying anywhere quickly adds up to over $1,000 before they've even landed. And that's only the beginning. Add lodging, food, and ground transportation, and the cost becomes overwhelming. Even short, domestic flights that were once an easy weekend getaway now demand serious budgeting and planning. While airlines blame fuel prices and staffing shortages, the reality remains. What used to be a standard summer routine now feels like a luxury vacation. So people are adjusting. They're staying home, hitting the road instead, or skipping travel altogether. Every time someone opts out, that's another empty seat. And multiplied across millions, airports are starting to feel like empty relics of busier days. Number 9. The travel experience itself has become unbearable. Why does flying today feel more like a battle than a journey? Even those who can still afford to fly are wondering if it's worth the frustration. From the moment travelers arrive at the airport, they're faced with long, sluggish TSA lines. After that, delays, gate changes, and boarding chaos only add to the stress. By the time you're on the plane, there's no room in the overhead bins, the cabin reeks of stale coffee, and the seat in front of you is nearly in your lap. And that's just the in-flight part. After landing, your luggage might be lost, the car rental line could stretch around the block, or your hotel room might not be ready. Travelers aren't just physically tired, they're emotionally drained. What once felt exciting now feels exhausting. Social media is flooded with videos of families sleeping on airport floors and flights cancelled without warning. The trust between airlines and passengers is rapidly eroding, and many people are choosing to stay home instead of subjecting themselves to travel trauma. As fewer people feel inclined to fly, the result is clear: empty terminals and increasingly unfilled planes. Number 8. International travelers are bypassing the US. Why are people from around the globe turning their backs on America? For decades, tourists saved up just to see iconic places like New York, the Grand Canyon, or Disneyland. But lately, that dream has dimmed. One major issue? Visas. In countries like India, South Africa, and many parts of South America, getting a US tourist visa can now take up to 500 days just for an interview. That's not a delay, it's a deal-breaker. Add to that the confusion over ever-changing entry requirements and the anxiety of random checks at customs, and many travelers are simply choosing easier destinations. On top of that, the US is grappling with a perception problem. News of shootings, protests, and unrest reaches global headlines, leaving potential tourists uneasy. Even though much of America remains safe and welcoming, the image broadcast abroad is one of unpredictability. As a result, a German couple may choose Japan, a Brazilian family might visit Spain, and even Canadian snowbirds are opting for Portugal or Mexico over Florida. Each skipped trip means less hotel revenue, fewer souvenirs sold, and quieter airport terminals. Multiply that by millions of visitors, and it's no surprise that US airports are starting to resemble abandoned malls rather than international gateways. Number 7. Inflation is making vacations unaffordable. How can families plan getaways when everyday expenses are already sky-high? For those who still dream of traveling, inflation is making it nearly impossible. With rising costs in essentials like gas, groceries, housing, and utilities, the vacation budget is often the first to be slashed. Hotel rooms that once went for $120 now cost $180. A basic meal is pushing $30 per person after tax and tip. Add in tickets, transportation, parking, and incidental costs, and the bill adds up fast. What used to be a fun family escape now looks like a financial misstep. For families especially, it's brutal. Feeding 4 people at a tourist spot can cost over $100 just for lunch. Factor in attractions like zoos or amusement parks, and they're hundreds of dollars down before dinner. Worse yet, wages haven't kept pace. Many Americans are earning about the same or only marginally more than before, while their expenses have skyrocketed. So they're making hard choices: pay down bills or blow it all on a trip? Most stay home. Even frequent travelers are pulling back, skipping vacations, canceling booked plans, or cutting holiday travel altogether. Every canceled reservation affects the whole ecosystem. Flights depart with empty seats, hotel rooms sit unoccupied, and airports remain ghostly quiet. Inflation hasn't just made vacations pricey, it's made them feel entirely out of reach. Number 6. Local tourism is replacing long-distance travel. Why fly across the country when a simple drive offers the same escape for less? More Americans are opting to travel locally, finding hidden gems close to home rather than boarding a plane. Whether it's state parks, quaint lakeside towns, or nearby scenic spots, these regional destinations are booming. The appeal is obvious: local travel is cheaper, easier, and far less stressful. There are no TSA lines, no checked bag fees, no long delays. You can pack up the car, head out for a couple of days, and be back before work on Monday. It satisfies the travel itch without draining the wallet. A cozy Airbnb, a beach an hour away, or even a luxury staycation at a local hotel sounds more appealing than navigating a busy terminal. As more travelers adopt this approach, national tourism is declining. Big-name cities like Boston, San Francisco, and New Orleans, once summer hotspots, are seeing smaller crowds. Major airports, once the center of seasonal travel, are going silent. Meanwhile, small regional towns are enjoying a boom. People haven't stopped traveling, they've just changed their habits. But this shift is hurting the large-scale travel infrastructure. Fewer flights, slower terminals, and declining passenger movement mean that national tourism, and the massive airport system built to support it, is taking a serious hit. Number 5. The work-from-home revolution flipped the travel calendar. What happens when people are no longer bound by peak travel seasons? The rise of remote work has completely upended traditional travel rhythms. No longer tied to school breaks or office schedules, remote workers are traveling during off-peak months, taking trips in the middle of the week, or avoiding air travel altogether. Some are choosing to relocate temporarily, renting a cabin, moving abroad for a few months, or living in an Airbnb. It's low stress, affordable, and skips the hassles of peak season travel. This shift has made airport traffic unpredictable. The sharp summer and winter surges have flattened into inconsistent trickles. While it may seem minor, this lack of predictability is devastating for businesses built around crowds. Hotels near airports are seeing fewer guests. Shuttle companies are running half-empty vans. Restaurants inside terminals might be overstaffed one day and overwhelmed the next. The travel industry thrived on patterns, but those patterns are disappearing. Even business travel is in decline. Video calls have replaced cross-country flights for meetings, and major conferences that once packed flights are now held online. The result? Fewer travelers, fewer reasons to fly. The work-from-home era has delivered freedom to workers, but it's wreaking havoc on the old travel ecosystem. Airports, airlines, and cities that haven't adapted to this new reality are falling behind. Number 4. Airlines are quietly cutting routes. Why are entire cities slowly vanishing from airline maps? It's not making headlines, but airlines are subtly scaling back. They're slashing flights to smaller cities, trimming down their schedules, and eliminating routes that once seemed standard. As a result, entire airports are beginning to resemble ghost towns. Cities that once enjoyed direct flights to major hubs are now disconnected. A traveler from a mid-sized city might need to drive 2 hours just to reach a larger airport to catch a flight, and for many, that added inconvenience is enough to cancel the trip altogether. These changes often come quietly. One day the flight exists, and the next, it's gone without notice. Airlines justify the cuts with talk of efficiency, declining demand, or pilot shortages, and while those explanations may be valid, the effects are deeply felt. Smaller airports are suffering. Local jobs tied to the airline industry, like baggage handlers, gate agents, and shuttle drivers, begin to disappear as passenger traffic fades. Even major airports feel the impact. When routes are cut, it disrupts connections. Passengers who once enjoyed easy 2-leg trips now face complicated 3-leg journeys that may include an overnight stay. That extra effort makes travelers reconsider, or scrap, their plans entirely. Meanwhile, airlines are focusing their resources on profitable, high-demand routes that go to big cities or international destinations, leaving many regions behind. So, while it might seem like fewer people are choosing to fly, in many areas, they simply no longer have the option. The network is shrinking, the convenience is gone, and reaching a destination costs more time and money. Cutting routes might help the airline's bottom line in the short term, but it's also one of the biggest reasons terminals across America are sitting half empty. Number 3. America's image is hurting tourism. Has the idea of the American dream vacation become a global warning sign? For decades, the US was considered a top bucket list destination, famous for its sprawling cities, national parks, Hollywood allure, and the promise of freedom. But recently, that perception has started to crack, and people around the world are taking notice. International news paints a different reality today. Headlines about school shootings, mass protests, and unpredictable violence are broadcast across the globe. Travelers from Europe, Asia, and South America see these stories and begin to question their safety. They wonder, is it safe? Will I feel welcome? Is it even worth the risk? And while much of America remains safe and peaceful, perception holds tremendous power. Once doubt creeps in, travelers start exploring other options. A family from the UK might choose Tokyo over Los Angeles. An Australian couple could cancel their New York trip and head to Paris instead. Even travel influencers are adjusting, posting fewer shots from Times Square and more from scenic destinations like Portugal or Thailand. The shift shows in the numbers. International bookings to the US are down in key markets. Some foreign airlines have reduced flights to American cities, and flagship tourist attractions like theme parks and shopping meccas are seeing fewer foreign guests. It's not about politics, it's about perception. Right now, America feels tense, unpredictable, and occasionally unsafe to those looking in from the outside. That fear, even if not grounded in personal experience, is enough to alter travel plans. And when global tourists stay away, the impact is immediate: reduced foot traffic, lower spending, and quieter airports. America didn't just lose travelers, it lost the curiosity and wonder that once pulled them in. Number 2. People are choosing abroad over America. What's leading more Americans to choose Portugal over Palm Springs? There's a noticeable trend happening. Americans are hitting the skies again, but they're skipping cities like Las Vegas, New York, and Miami. Instead, they're heading overseas. Increasingly, travelers are discovering that for the same price, or sometimes even less, they can enjoy a richer, more rewarding experience in another country. A flight to Europe might cost the same as a US coast-to-coast ticket, but once there, everything is cheaper. Hotel stays, dining out, sightseeing, and even basic transportation cost a fraction of what they do in the States. In destinations like Lisbon, Bangkok, or Medellin, a traveler's dollar stretches twice as far. But it's not just about affordability, it's also about freshness, discovery, and perceived value. Travelers describe international locations as more organized, more courteous, less crowded, and often even more breathtaking. More Americans are skipping Disney in Orlando for culture in Italy, bypassing Los Angeles in favor of Bali, and replacing road trips through the Midwest with cafe strolls through Eastern Europe. Social media is full of content from once dreamed of international destinations, places that are now just regular choices. As more Americans look abroad for adventure, fewer are flying domestically. That shift is being felt across the travel industry. U.S. airports are seeing a dip in domestic routes. Iconic tourist cities are welcoming fewer guests. Businesses built around American vacationers are beginning to notice the silence. The thinking is simple. If I'm going to spend this much, why not go somewhere truly different? The U.S. isn't disappearing from the travel map, but it's no longer the first choice for many. And that quiet decision is leaving boarding gates across the country wide open and waiting. Number 1. Tourism might be facing a permanent shift. What once looked like a short-term slump, a rough season, a year of recovery, now feels like something deeper, a lasting transformation in how people travel. The old norms are gone. Travelers don't plan vacations the same way. They don't prioritize the same experiences. They don't even value the same things anymore. Travel has evolved, and America's tourism infrastructure hasn't fully caught up. Remote work granted people new freedom. Rising prices forced them to reevaluate what's worth spending on. And frustrating airport experiences pushed them to explore easier, cheaper alternatives. Once people realized they could have better vacations with less stress and more value somewhere else, they began forming new habits. That's the real story here. Not just half-empty gates or canceled flights, but travelers who have quietly moved on. So here we are. Travelers are rethinking what matters. They're being more deliberate with their time and smarter with their money. And if America hopes to stay relevant in the global tourism scene, it must adapt, not just with cheaper airfare, but with smoother experiences, modern systems, and genuine reasons for people to return. Maybe this lull is just a reset. Maybe the crowds will come back. But if it's not, if this really marks a turning point, then the future of U.S. tourism won't be written by airports or airlines. It'll be shaped by travelers, one decision at a time. And that decision? It's already being made. Have you noticed emptier airports on your recent trips? Are you flying less than you used to? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear how your travel habits have changed.